so many things and so many amazing stories that you hear with him. So without further ado, y'all, bridge the gap. Y'all make some noise, y'all.
Woo! Yeah. Hip hop, make some noise. Let's go. We all in this together. 50 years, holding it down for hip hop culture. Shout out from the Bronx. Shout out to Red Bull BC1 for hosting. Big shout out. Everybody clap for Red Bull BC1. Word up. Giving us a platform. Yo, in hip hop, we got what we call do the knowledge. Alright? In this panel discussion, we got the queens, you know what I'm saying? Asia, Candy. We got first generation B-boy, Dancing Doug. That was that Kool Herc, Cholly Rock, first generation B-boy, first 11 Zulu Kings. Y'all know Ness. Oh my gosh. AlienNess, aka Rusty Shank Ward, former president of Mighty Zulu Kings. Big us, y'all. Alright? So I'm gonna give them the mic, you know what I mean? And they, introduce themselves, and then we'll go from there.
Hello. Can you hear me? Mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. My name is Candy. I am originally from New York, grew up in the Heights and the Bronx. I came up around heads like AlienNess, Ken Swift, Rockefeller. My first crew was Briggs Crew, but my crew now is MZK. I am the VP of the Queens, and I'm very honored to be on this panel, like super overwhelmed and grateful. Thank you.
New York, what's up? Where New York at? New York in the building. So y'all already know who I am. Y'all know I've been representing y'all to the fullest. And I'm still gonna rep y'all. It's all about y'all, New York City. We started this and we're gonna hang on to this till it goes to the top.
Good morning. My name is Dancing Doug. I'm 1973 50th anniversary from August 11th, 1973, being the very first Herculoid party back then. So we call us the Herculoids, but I'm just proud to be here. I love these guys here. I've been rolling with this kid here, this one here for the last few years, man. And this one too. I love these brothers and I love these sisters too. That's right. That's right. And so I'm doing the B-Boy Hall of Fame. So I've been doing it the first 2 years, and we'll have some new candidates going into the Boy Hall of Fame this year, so it'll be the third class. But it's a proud thing to see how this thing we started, years and years ago, never thought it would be what it is today, and how it's grown and spread around the world from a bunch of teenagers just having fun to 30 million people around the world. So we have an international culture, so we're better than the UN, because we got love for each other beyond the words, beyond the languages. It's just the love of the dance, love of the culture. And I'm proud of that. It's to be with you guys today.
Okay, peace and blessings to everyone. I am the original Zulu King, Cholly Rock. I'm one of the first 11 Zulu Kings. It is an honor and a pleasure to be here. Like Doug said, we were just kids having fun. No way would I have thought it was going to go as far as it has. I've got to introduce somebody to you, Julie. Back in the days, I was hanging out in front of Evander Childs High School. Now that's not my high school. I went to Bronx High School of Science, so you figure out what I was doing at this other high school. You can figure that out. And these two young ladies, Michelle and Juliet, they came up to me and they said, Cholly Rock, can we paint your pants? Back then it was Lee Denims. And I said, sure, why not? And when we came back, nobody had done this at the time. And when she came back with my pants, my Lee Denims said, Cholly Rock on one side in graffiti letters, the Zulu Kings on the other side, with a black spade at the bottom, because I was a spade, that was my gangbanging. So I gotta let y'all give her flowers. This is Juliet Jackson. And Michelle White. All right? because I wanted to make sure they got their flowers, you know. A lot of people, there were a lot of unsung people in this culture. You know what I'm saying? That started 50 years ago, you know? So it's an honor to be here. It's an honor to be alive, to represent and be here, and thank you so much. I look forward to this.
What's up, everybody? My name is Asia One. I am a beat girl. I write graffiti. I represent Mighty Zulu Kings and Queens. Got down in 2007. Careful. Just a couple things I guess I could say is that I'm one of those people that was inspired by b-boys, especially b-boys of the early 90s, 91, 92. My thing is that I was just like, I want to make sure that this dance form always has a place, because the music was changing and the dance was changing, right? Freestyle dance started emerging, the boom bap era, the beats were slower, people were really breaking to it, so the dance changed. And then in our own scene and culture, in hip hop, people would look at us and look at these guys and be like, you guys still doing that? Just like how you were saying when we were talking, Doug, you know, when people were like, or you guys were saying, are you guys still doing this? And I looked at it as something, wow, is this gonna go away, this amazing traditional dance form of hip hop? So, you know, that's why I created the B-Boy B-Girl Summit with my co-facilitator, J-Love and Z-Rock, and San Diego Zulu Nation chapter. Zulu Nation was a big part of my upbringing in hip-hop culture. I got involved with them around 1991. And so I'm originally from Denver, Colorado, and I got my start in hip-hop over there and opened up a shop. And like I said, just was really inspired by what I was seeing on tour at that point. There was a show called Ghetto Originals that was going on tour, and it was the first ever hip-hop tour, hip-hop dance tour, theater show, we should say. So those of us that saw it, I saw that, and I literally had one of those moments like, I want to do that, I want to be that, you know? So you have one of those life-changing moments, I just follow my dreams, and here I am. But just remember too that if you're out there and if you have a dream and an idea and a need you think needs to happen, you might be the person to do it. Because I was just a nobody from nowhere land, you know what I'm saying? Like nobody cared about Denver, you know, I was just somebody who was inspired and wanted to do something, and you never realized how that will change the world sometimes. So keep following your dreams, y'all.
All right. So Doug and Cholly Rock, I got a question for y'all. We know there was many parties back then, Kool Herc, right, and all the block. What made Kool Herc party special?
Okay, Doug can answer that first.
To be perfectly honest, back then, you had all these great DJs all around. You had Bam here, you had Flash, you had Mario, you had Smokey, and Smokatrons. But Herc was a place everybody had to go to cut their teeth. You were gonna be a B-boy or B-girl, you had to go to Herc's parties. That's where everyone had to go cut their teeth at, because your reputation came from being at a Herc's party, from being a B-boy or B-girl. So I tell everybody now, a lot of people associate hip-hop as being rap, but it was the B-boys and B-girls that made hip-hop. There would be no hip-hop without you guys. I'm telling you right now, it would have died in its bed. It would have been a good DJ here. Herc was a fabulous DJ. Kool Rock on the mic with the echo chamber. It was a fly place, but people came to see the B-boys and B-girls dance, and that's what made Herc's spot the place to be. All these great DJs were just phenomenal all around the spot. You know, PDJ Jones, all these other DJs downtown, but you had to go to Kool Herc's party to cut your teeth to get the reputation to being a B-boy and B-girl. And hip-hop would have never existed without that. It would have died in this bed. And I mean that. So then you see the crews start to generate. So you see the Zulu Kings, you see TDB, the Rocksteady, the Dynamic Rockers, the Incredible Breakers, the New York City Breakers, all these great break squads, you know, the Crazy Commandos. It starts generating, I call it germination of the dance genre. It starts germinating all around. And now Beat Street happens, and people around the world start to see it and say, whoa, I want to be part of that. But everything came from 1973 from that Kool Herc party, even though, and I tell people, people danced before Kool Herc parties. There was DJs before Kool Herc's parties. There was MCs before Kool Herc's parties. But that was the spot we all jumped off. People say associate that as the 50th anniversary. So when we say the 5-0, it's 5-0 and it's kind of hazy 5-0. It's, you know, it's a little hazy. And 5-0 means police too, so you understand they say 5-0. You know what we're talking about. 5-0, 8-5-0, 8-5-0. That's a different thing. They start dropping stuff on the ground. 8-5-0, 8-5-0. I throw stuff on the ground. But that 5-0 is a little hazy, but we go back and say, we can all celebrate saying our genesis of our culture, especially the dance part of the culture, comes from there. So from the burning to breaking, to break dancing to then breaking to where we go. So you see the genesis as it evolves to the stuff that they're doing now. We just sit back and amazing at the stuff the guys are doing, you know, guys and girls are doing now. It's amazing. But as Cholly Rock says something, I tell everybody, this is his line, there's no Lamborghini without a Model T Ford. So I'm the old 65-year-old Model T Ford. I was 15 back then, 50 years ago. But I'm 65 now, but I'm just proud to still be here doing this.
Yeah. Let me tell you guys something. As Doug said, there were a lot of DJs, but there were not a lot of what came to be known as hip-hop DJs. They didn't play the music that we went off to. And like he said, going to a Herc party, that was the Super Bowl. There are many people, you're hearing about me, but there are people like Clark Kent, the legendary Twins. In my crew in the Bronx, the Gun Hill crew, B. Hair Rock, Ceddy Mo, Cedric Ingram, Byron Romero's B. Hair Rock. You know, Angelo, Lolo Rock. People that you won't hear. We just happen to get to shine. You know what I'm saying? But those were the people, there's a bunch of people that set this foundation. And as I said, when Doug was doing his documentary, I said, you should name the documentary From the Ground Up. Because this culture begins with the B-boys and the B-girls. If we weren't around, this would be just another party. You know what I'm saying? It'd be just another party. DJs playing music and everything, but Herc was the one who really set that standard. And I remember talking to Herc one day, we were at the Zulu anniversary. This is many years ago. And I said, Herc, you know, all these people saying this nonsense, talk about they knew. They didn't know anything. Because we didn't know. And we're the ones who created it. We didn't know. You know? We had no idea that this was going to become the primary dominant global culture of youth that it is today. No idea.
What up, y'all?
You know? And I mean, we had B-boys, B-girls. Then as you went to the floor, some of the B-girls faded out. And I'm loving to see the B-girls come back. You know? They're here, you know? People like my girl Juliet. You know, girls were dead spinning on the floor. They thought that was very unladylike. You know? So the fact that the girls are back doing their thing, I'm very proud of that. That's a beautiful thing, you know? Because you went back to the ground. And that's where it all began.
There it is, y'all.
That's where it all began.
Give it up, Cholly Rock. All right, Ness, you next. So that AlienNess, you took lineage of the Zulu Kings B-boy crew in 2000, but then you twisted up to change your name to Mighty Zulu Kings and Queens, aka MZK Worldwide, and you took ownership of it. What was the reason behind the name change? And what was the vision and mission for MZK Worldwide when you took ownership of it?
Yeah, Ness, please explain that. Because they asked me, why did he put a Z there? And I said, I don't know, you gotta
Real simple. When Zulu Kings was given to me, there was a lot of, within Zulu Nation, a lot of discrepancy with the name. Because Zulu Kings as a b-boy crew already ceased to exist. And the term Zulu King was a title, part of the hierarchy of Zulu Nation. So a lot of them cats who put in years to get their kingship was not appreciating me recruiting cats and making them Zulu Kings that day. Rightfully so, understood. There was also legal problems with the name. Do you know that that name, Zulu Kings, spelled properly, is owned by Africa Islam? Another great, yeah, y'all can give it up for Africa Islam. He's done a lot for hip hop too. So he technically owned that name. So in order for me to continue, I had to switch things up. So I come from the era of mighty Zulu Nation. You know, Zulu Nation has been through many eras. It was Zulu Nation, mighty Zulu Nation, Almighty Zulu Nation, then Universal Zulu Nation. I come from the mighty Zulu Kings era. So I wanted my Zulu Kings to represent that energy and that fire of my chapter, chapter 2 of Cholly Rock. You'll remember Trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know Trouble, you understand the MZK fire and persona and stuff like that. I mean, so I had the mighty, I also decided to change the S to a Z, you know, for my own reasons, and decided to change the spelling of the word Queens as well. So nobody would have a problem with anything. We were our own entity at the end of the day. However, we still see ourselves as a product of the original Zulu Kings. And to this day, we still go to Cholly Rock for guidance and history and the whole 9 yards. It wasn't like we took the ball and ran. Technically we did, but we also knew we had to come back and give honor and acknowledge and give the proper flowers to them because they're the ones that started this for us, you know? And Tyquan spoke about the mission statement. When I first got MZKs or Zulu Kings, my mission statement was simple: to uphold and maintain the true essence of Africa Bambaata's original vision. And that was all the elements together as one, under one umbrella name, hip hop. So that's why I went on to make MZK more than just breakers. You know, we got writers, we got DJs, we got MCs, we got promoters. We got cats that don't do none of that, but they're still family. You know what I'm saying? But the mission statement has always been the same. Tyquan is the new international president, right? So, yeah, I handed it down to him. And basically, no matter how you write it or spell it or word it, it's still the same mission statement. If you look what MZK is doing today compared to what we was doing back then, it's basically the same thing, except he has less resistance than I had. You know, I had a little bit more resistance, and that's what really put MZK on the map, because we had to go out there and battle every single one of y'all. You know, to make it, to make our point clear that we're here to stay.
Thank you, Ness. So Asia and Candy, what was your turning point for you two that, like, okay, MZK is that crew for you? Is it the vibes? What was it?
Well, I could say 2007, we was at a spot, I think it was one of the freestyle session events. It was like an event, I don't know, they had a footwork battle, I don't know. I just remember that part. And I remember that I had already been, you know, been asked to be like, yo, we want you to get down. Because at that point, and I think it's still the same way, I mean, forgive me if I totally don't know the whole system. It's like anything, like there's a system to every kind of system, and you're like, yo, these systems is crazy. But at that point, you didn't ask to get down with MZK. You got put down. You know what I'm saying? So you got, you know, you didn't put it like this, you didn't be like, yo, I want to be an MCK, can I get down? It was more like MCK recruited you, say, yo, we want you down, you want to get down. And so for me, I was coming out of, I hadn't been in a crew for a while. I was in Rocksteady for some years. I got out of Rocksteady in 2000. And I was rolling on my own, doing no easy props. And I was having my own experience, right? As a woman, as a B-girl. And it felt good not to be dominated. You know, sometimes you get in a crew, and especially as a woman, you know, it can be intense. Like my experience in Rocksteady, I'm not here to say anything negative about that. It was a unique experience, I'll put it like that. And I learned a lot, but I didn't want to be dominated by like a man in a crew setting. You know what I'm saying? So I think for me, what I realized about MCK is that MCK is a crew that isn't built or run by one person. It's a crew that is representative of the rawness and the history and the tradition of culture, of B-boy culture, coming out of New York, coming out of the Bronx, coming out of this era. And for me, that's what I was interested in. That's what drew me to hip-hop and drew me to breaking, is the culture of hip-hop itself. And to me, MCK was and still is that crew that represents the full culture. You got a lot of crews in breaking that, you know, really aren't attached to hip-hop at all. Let's just be honest, they're just not. So for me, it was an honor to get down and to be part of it and get down at that event in 2007. So that's my MZK story. I mean, and you know, I got made to be the queen, the president of Mighty Zulu Kings, which is a beautiful thing to me. I mean, I'm not really into titles, I'll be honest. I try to lead by example, and I try to be supportive of my queens and of B-girls in the scene, and nurturing our growth as women in this culture of hip-hop, and just representing, right? So that's what it means to me.
Thank you, Rachel. Candy.
For me, it was, I felt like I was always MZK. I was always with Ness, so I was almost Rocksteady at one point because he wanted me to be down with whoever he was down with. And it just never actually worked out that way. If you know me, I'm very nomadic. I just leave and come back to New York whenever my heart kind of calls me to go. And so every time I'd run into Ness all around the world, he would say to me like, why are you not down yet? Like, you are MCK, we just gotta make it official. And I would be like, then make it official. And then another year would go by and that would happen. And then finally, I think it was 2012, we had battled, the crew I was in at the time had battled MZK at Freestyle Session. And it was a legendary, yes, it was a legendary year for MZK. If anybody was at that Freestyle Session, MZK destroyed everything. And at one point, Ness goes to me, and you know you should have been on our side. And I'm like, damn, I should have, but it is what it is. I still battled them really hard. And then I got the call at the airport, like, by the way, you're down now. That's it, like, that's what it is. And I was like, I'm not gonna prospect, nothing. And he's like, you've been prospecting since you were 16 years old. Like, you are MZK, that's what it is. So I never asked, I just got put in. And here we are.
All right, y'all.
I just want to add something interesting, because Asia said the word recruit before. I'm sorry, Asia. I don't like that word. MZK does not recruit. We recognize. You're either one of us or you're not. You know, we don't recruit, and it's got nothing to do with your skills. You could be the dopest person in the world. I will never ask you to be MZK if you just don't fit in. Anybody who has seen MZK vibing together, anybody who was at the party last night could see MZK is just more than a crew. Like, we real family. So we don't really recruit, we recognize.
All right, y'all, give it up, give it up. Yeah. Your AlienNess. Tell them what time it is, man.
All right, so check this out. I wanna give my props to these two gentlemen. First, I'm gonna start with Dancing Doug. When I decided to be an educator in this culture, as an educator, you have to be a student. and you have to go back and ask questions to the pioneers and all the original legends and stuff. And I remember asking Curtis Blow, back in 2000, we were rehearsing for an off-Broadway play, and I asked Curtis Blow, who would he think was like the first B-boys in Harlem? And before I could even finish saying Harlem, the first name that came out of his mouth was Dancing Doug. And I'm like, okay, I want to know more about Dancing Doug. And you know, Curtis basically said, you know, he was a dope B-boy. He used to make that pilgrimage to go to the Bronx. One time, Asia One said the importance about pilgrimage in hip-hop, and now I get it. Years after Asia spoke about it, I get it now. But Dancing Doug was one of them cats that, from Harlem, that would put their big boy pants on and come to the Bronx, basically, and do their thing. Since then, Curtis Blow, Cholly Rock, all these brothers have pulled this man out of the ashes, basically, out of the ashes, and he has not just come back and received his flowers and has been sitting on panels and this, but he has been doing a lot lately for all of us. You know, immediately as soon as he got engulfed in the scene, he started working on a documentary, giving shine to everybody, not just big name B-boys like you see now. If you was dancing, he had a camera in your face. He then turned around and started the B-Boy Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? And I want to thank you, because I'm up in there already. First Blazer Award, alongside Beaver from the original Zulu Kings, so that's an honor. And he's also basically has been nothing more or nothing less than a friend and mentor to MZK. So on behalf of everybody in MZK, we would like to give Doug this token of our appreciation.
Let's go! Gotta give the flowers. Gotta give the flowers.
You've been recognized.
You've been recognized.
But we also could not do this without talking about my brother Cholly Rock. First time I heard Cholly Rock's name was 1984. Before I heard about the legendary twins, before I heard about, you know, Sasa and all these big legendary names that we have now, one name has always been being spoken in the dancing from the 70s all the way up to today. That's some staying power. Like I always said, the real battle is longevity, trying to stay in this. And Cholly Rock has been that dude whose name has been in every conversation of breaking since the 70s all the way up till now, consistently. We look at him as our godfather, because he's one of the original Zulu Kings. So of course we got one. Can we give his
Make some noise! Cholly Rock!
Yo, if it wasn't for these two men and others just like them, we would not be here right now. You feel me?
Yes.
We got shout outs to a few other legends in the house. I see Kid Freeze. I see Glide of Dynamic Ravens. I see Bob, original Southern Rockers. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for men like that, we wouldn't be where we are now. So let's give them all a round of applause.
Give them flowers, y'all.
Thank you.
Yo, all my Zoom and MZK, remember, come through on the stage. We need to take a picture.